Hi everyone and welcome back. In this session, we will look at the second example for your auto scaling group, which is making use of your scaling policies. Now, in the last session, we looked at how we can maintain your fixed number of instances, wherein your auto scaling group will maintain that right number of instances, and no matter what happens, it will always have that fixed instances. Now, in this session, we'll look at how we can dynamically scale up and scale down your instances based on certain criteria. So in this case, we will look at how we can monitor the CPU utilization and then scale up or scale down your instances. Once again, before I start off with the session, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. So scaling on demand, that's basically another option we have when we talk about your auto scaling group. So under this, it's a more advanced way which can be used to dynamically scale your resources. So under this, your auto scaling group will dynamically increase your capacity or decrease your capacity based on the demand. The demand, like if the load on the application is high, or if the network traffic is high, or the CPU utilization is high, we can ask auto scaling group to dynamically resize our capacity based on the changes that we have in the demand. So for example, let's say we have a web application, and this web application is running on two EC2 instances, and now you want to monitor the CPU utilization of these two instances, so that my auto scaling group needs to stay at around 50%. So the CPU utilization should be at 50%, 50 percentage. Now, whenever this capacity increases, when the utilization increases, I want my auto scaling group to scale up the instances, and if the utilization is below that, I want to scale down the instances. So that's where we can leverage your scaling on demand, which is dynamically scaling your auto scaling group. So this method can be useful when as and when your traffic changes occur and you're not sure as to when this traffic will change. All right, so we cannot estimate as to when the traffic will increase or when the traffic will decrease. When we don't know that, that's when we can go with your scaling on demand capacity, your dynamic scaling. So with this, we can configure scaling policies which will respond to those changes, which in this case will be your CPU utilization. So your auto scaling group, it gives us multiple policy types that we can choose from to scale our capacity in response to the changes that happens in your traffic. All right. So essentially, in this example, we will be monitoring your CPU utilization. We will basically look at 10 percentage of your CPU utilization, and whenever the CPU utilization is more than 10 percentage, I want additional instances to be launched, and if the load is less, I want the instances to be terminated, okay, based on the CPU utilization. So for this, we will make use of the launch templates that we created in the last session. So this is the one we are going to utilize. So we'll go to the auto scaling groups, and we'll start creating a new auto scaling group. Let's call this as scaling policies. That is what we are going to use, and the template. So we've already created the template. We're just going to use that. Next, the network. So we are going with the default VPC. The availability zone, so this is for making your instances highly available. So just for sake of example, I'll select all the availability zones, but it is recommended that we select, at a minimum, we select two availability zones. We're not going to leverage any load balancers for this. So next, the capacity. So what is your desired capacity? Right, so let's say my desired capacity will be 2, and then this is where we define your scaling capacity. So what is the minimum number of instances you want, and what is the maximum number of instances? So let's say minimum I want 1 instances, and maximum I want 4 instances. So what will happen here is my auto scaling group will maintain the instances between this number. So if the load is very less, at the minimum it will maintain 1 instance, and if the load is high, it can scale up to a maximum of 4 instances. And then I'm telling that, okay, I'm desiring to maintain 2 instances, so to see if you can maintain 2 instances, that is what we are telling here. Now this becomes the capacity, and we are going to define a policy. All right, so when do you want to scale up? You can give a name to it, that's the default name, and what is the metric you want to monitor. So these are the options we have. So there's your CPU utilization, that's your network in, network out, and then your application load balancer request count as well. So in our case, we are going to look at the CPU utilization and what's your target value. So just for the sake of example, I'm going to set this to 10. But in real world, this will be either 80 percentage or 90 percentage. But just so I can show you the example, I'm keeping it to the minimum so that I can show you that auto scaling group is launching new instances for us. And then instance warm up. So how long do you want auto scaling group to wait before it launches new instances? So let's say we'll set this to 60 seconds, the minimum. And you also have the instance maintenance policy. You're not going to look at this, and we'll go to the next. Again, that's your notification. We're not utilizing that. We'll add a tag to this, and let's call this as scaling policy demo. Next, we get to review everything. So this is the main the scaling policy that we have defined. So I need minimum 1 instance, maximum of 4 instance, and I'm telling that execute this policy when required to maintain average CPU utilization at 10. So if it is higher than 10, scale up. If it is lower than 10, scale down, right? So we'll review that and then click on create auto scaling group, and this will start launching the desired number of instances, which in our case is 2. All right, so let's wait for the instances to come up. So I'll go here and let's open up another tab, and we should be able to see our instances being launched. We'll give it a few seconds. So here I should be able to see new instances, and let me refresh this. Okay, so it shows 2 instances, and let's see. Okay, so here you can see scaling policy demo, and this is because of the desired capacity that we have set. So the desired capacity is set to 2. That's why it has launched 2 instances, but this may become 1 based on the load. All right, so if you go to the instance management, so here I have the 2 instances that are launched. We can look at the monitoring. So as of now, we are monitoring the CPU utilization. So if I go to the EC2, we should be able to see the CPU utilization. Now this will take some time because we have gone with the default monitoring. This will take some time to show the data, right? But we should be able to see the CPU utilization over here, and the condition that we have defined is if my CPU utilization goes above 10, launch new instances. Now what I'll do here is I'll log into one of these instances and I'll set up a simple HTML page. So let's quickly SSH into this. So here I have my terminal, and then we will do a SSH into this. So let's go with ec2-user. So that's the server, one of the server, and we'll log into the server, and I'm going to install my Apache server. So let's first update the machine. So yum update, this should apply any updates. Now we'll install my httpd, which is my Apache server in this case, and once that is done, we will set up a very simple HTML page. So we'll go to the var www.html, and we will create this index.html file, and let me have this. So this is running on auto scaling group instance. I know there's a typo, I'm gonna ignore that, and we will do a service httpd start. So this should run a simple HTML page. So here, if I hit the public IP, I should be able to see this. All right, so this is running. Now imagine this is our application. Now as a user, as and when more users start accessing this, the load on the server will increase, right? And my CPU utilization will also increase. So for this purpose, what I'm going to do here is, so you can see here currently the CPU utilization, if you look at this, the CPU utilization currently it shows here the dot, if you see. So this is at 37.5. okay, so here at the bottom you can see it shows 37.5, and here also you can see it is close to the above 35, and the condition that we have defined is it should be around this range. Now, because as of now, you can see the load is high, and because of that, my auto scaling group went ahead and has launched new instances for us. So this is basically what your dynamic scaling is, based on the load that we have. So you can see here the maximum we have defined is 4, and because of that my auto scaling has launched 4 instances, because now the CPU utilization is above the threshold that we have defined. So the threshold that we have defined is 10, right? So if it goes even 11 or 12, it will go ahead and launch new instances, and it will continuously keep on monitoring. So once it comes down below 10, it will start terminating these instances for us. So this is basically what your dynamic scaling is, scaling your instances on demand based on certain metrics, which in this case is your CPU utilization. All right, so this is another option how we can leverage your auto scaling groups to automatically scale up and scale down your EC2 instances based on the demand. There are other options as well that are available, but this is one of the very commonly used option that we have. And the other option is your fixed number of instances, which we saw in the last session. Now, terminating the instances, that may take some time because the CPU utilization, it has to go below 10. So since we have gone with the basic monitoring, this metric gets refreshed every 5 minutes. So we'll have to wait for 5 minutes to see what is the CPU utilization. I'm not gonna wait for that, but gradually, if you're giving it a try, wait for some time, like maybe 5 to 10 minutes. And if you look at the CPU utilization, it should be below 10. And you can look at how your auto scaling group, which will start terminating your instances because now the load is less. So that's basically what your auto scaling groups are. So once again, auto scaling groups can be used when you want to scale up and scale down your EC2 instances. And we have looked at two examples. One is your fixed number of instances, and the other one is your dynamic scaling. That brings us to an end of your EC2 service, which is one of the very important service we have. In the next session, we will start off with your new service, which is your CloudWatch. That's another important service that we have in your AWS, and that's basically your monitoring service. So we will start off with that. That's all I have for this session. Thank you. Once again, before you leave, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Please like, share, and comment. If you have any feedback, please leave them in the comment section. Thank you.